Alright guys, we just arrived to InWin, and it's always a pleasure to see what they can come up with. Every single show, Computex or CES, they showcase something totally extraordinary and like that you would probably never think would exist. So this, my friends, behind me is the Z Tower. It is incredible. It's just pure case form art, you know, showcase piece. But before we get to that, huge thanks to our sponsors, Thermaltake, Phanteks and Cooler Master, for making this trip possible. So the Z Tower is just pure aluminum structure, and it just comes assembled in a crate, otherwise you will never be able to get it. But they have little pieces, standalone pieces, so we can actually lift them up and show you how heavy they are. So come with me, we'll show you. All right, so this is one of the pieces. So with two hands, you know, you feel like Thor, or you like just come out of like Avengers movie. Like this is heavy. This is workout material, okay? This is the epic piece. We got InWin, Computex 2018, these pieces. You know, this will go through customs, and you'll definitely get a lot of looks and questions through something like this. But it's definitely a showcase piece like no other. All right, so this thing weighs 90 pounds or 40 kilograms. That's a little bit insane. So you don't have to worry about anyone stealing your case, and if they do, they deserve it. So pricing wise, check this out. I mean, it's pretty reasonable, around 5K. You're looking at 5K without shipping. And let us know if this is something that you want to see on the channel. Alright, so aside from the crazy Z Tower, the other showcase piece was the InWin 307. It is based on the 303 frame, so it's a nice compact mid-tower, but here, with the 307, we get a full front panel made out of 144 RGB LED squares. Of course, it's quite unique because these squares can be customized with any color or simply turned off to create a unique pattern. And so we have this soft glow rather than overly harsh LEDs shining through because of this kind of like frosted / diffused front panel. And light output can also be controlled, so you can make it really bright or really low depending on your preference. We do have 12 lighting modes controlled with a side button on the case, so you can kind of customize based on that. There's a USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C port, and also a microphone up top, which can be used by the RGB software to sync to the LEDs with ambient sound of music. And InWin is also developing glow software for this particular sort of like array of LEDs to further customize the lighting. So it's supposed to be really user-friendly and intuitive interface. It can cycle through the 12 lighting modes by itself, and you can also design your own patterns for each mode. And so every LED's color output and reaction can be controlled from the software, but as we all know, software is very hard to get right. Now for the customization, you can create 4 patterns that will cycle right through, which is kind of cool. You can create little messages or potentially recreate your favorite, you know, 2D game. And overall, this is a really unique idea. The 307 may not be affordable at like under $300, considering the original frame is only $89, but it's really cool to see. We're moving into this direction where you can customize the RGB illumination of 144 LEDs on the front of the case and still kind of have a fully functioning interior. Now for the third case that got our interest, we have the InWin 915 case. So this one is a bit on the premium side at $499, but it is made entirely of aluminum. We have this curved aluminum structure for the front that opens up to reveal our fans. Now the intake here is kind of compromised because there is no, you know, ventilation for the front. It does intake air from the bottom at the front, which is covered by a dust filter. I do like their approach to this mechanical top that raises when you push a button and allows for the top ventilation to exhaust air. And you can simply press the button for that ventilation to close. So obviously this is a showpiece. Both side panels are tempered glass. The front and the back are aluminum, and they have the same curvature. The back one has the additional ventilation / looking things that allow you to kind of like see all the cables and potentially pass cables through it. And on the interior, it looks like a standard ATX layout. You can expand it to e-atx. We have a power supply shroud, plenty of like, you know, water cooling, mounting brackets and stuff on the interior, so you can build your ultimate showcase PC. We do have a Type-C Gen 2 port up top, along with a curved, addressable RGB LED strip that you can cycle between colors, or of course connect to your motherboard. And lastly, it's all about addressable RGB, so we have these new Ego fans from InWin because the RGB trend continues. So this time the focus is on lighting up this silicon fan frame, which is kind of this transparent structure rather than the blades themselves. But we do have 16 addressable RGB LEDs per frame. Now the point here is to have the soft glow rather than harsh LED shining right through, which is why we have this sort of silicon frame. And the ecosystem has this dual channel Aurora Plus control box to switch through lighting effects if desired. It comes with an RER blaster and the remote control, so you can change all that looks from the distance. And I'm not really sure how many will use that if they're mounted inside your case. Now they are using their own Aurora Plus software, which is, it's a unique software, but of course it might introduce its own set of challenges when it potentially might not work. The coolest thing about the fans, aside from the looks, would be how you can daisy chain up to 120 fans. This is what they've done for the show booth here. So 120 fans were controlled through a single hub. Of course, additional power is required, but it's kind of cool how you can daisy chain that many fans and still have full control of each one. Now, one potential issue with the performance would be this large square hub at the back that could potentially impede airflow, and there is no indication on whether or not it will work with motherboard's RGB connections. And so that is it from InWin. Incredibly unique Z Tower enclosure, a very cool unique front panel for the InWin 307 case, and the premium / niche specific InWin 915, and I would say even really cool Ego fans that I'm excited to play around with just to see what type of color effects you can create in your system. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out this other relevant content, and we'll see you in the next video.